Welcome to High
Busted
School
a nut.
Backups Podcast. My name is Nick, and this is episode 75, and we hope you're having a good week.
No.
Thank you for your patience, as I have not been here the last few weeks, therefore we've not been able to live stream. That will not be an issue going forward, as we will have someone backup able to live stream. Thank you, Austin, going forward. Now that he is sort of settling into his house. For those wondering what Kyle's talking about, let's not worry about it. Let's move into what we're talking about. So,
That's a common phrase on this podcast.
don't worry about it.
Hey, wait a second. No. Damn.
I think the most common phrase is, Kyle, you don't know what you're talking about. I think that's the most common
That's the most
phrase.
common phrase.
And unfortunately, it's also the one that tilts him the quickest, the easiest.
It's also the one that's the most true. So
Oh, wait a second. Hey, whoa.
Let's go. That's the energy that I want this week. Let's go.
With that note.
And with
No.
that note,
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
okay, so back to the beginning of what we were talking about today. So let's get into a few pieces of news that we'll talk about just on a slow, lower level here. First things first, women's national team this morning, very early this morning, 3 a.m. on the Eastern Coast, which Kyle's waking up early for some weird reason, has been, I mean, it was fine when it was 9 p.m., but 3 a.m. is a little early. 5 a.m. on Sunday, though. The U.S. national team, women's national team most specifically, those who win most commonly, have only suffered a total of 1 loss in group play and a total of 4 draws now before last game, and now 5 draws in their time in 23 wins. Suffered another draw last night to the team at which I am spacing on.
It was Portugal.
It was Portugal. Thank you. All I wanted to say was the Netherlands, which is true. They did draw with the Netherlands. However,
They
the
did.
Netherlands
Mhm.
did go ahead and absolutely diddly whop Vietnam, putting them in a spot that would have them taking the first seed, with the U.S. taking the second seed. Now, per Andrew's not here, they'll be playing Sweden, I guess, in the
Yes.
first round of 16 on Sunday at 5 a.m. I haven't
Correct.
decided if that's worth getting up for or not. We'll see. Maybe
I-
let's get up at 6 and watch it then.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch them lose to Sweden at 5 in the morning. I don't know if that's how I want to start my Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mhm.
Especially with 1 week till you know what, Mr. Kyle. Let's go. Anywho.
Yes. The countdown begins for
I-
the thing that we are all excited for.
I think the countdown started quite a long time ago. But that's
Unless you're a
So,
boomer.
it
With,
I think the most important part is making sure to really pay attention as this team tries to come out of this hole that they've been in with 2 draws in a row. So
Mhm.
we're really going to have to keep a lookout on them, hope that they can win and close it out, as they need to get something together. Andrew went a little bit of a rant in our chat earlier talking about how they just aren't figuring it out. And if they don't, then they're going to end out way sooner than they have in a very long time. So
Carly Lloyd looked pissed, by the way. If you guys have not seen that video of her basically saying the MVP of the match was the goalpost, I would recommend watching it because she looked fired up and heated.
which is a good sign, yeah?
I agree, except Carly Lloyd doesn't play anymore, so unfortunately.
Well, you know, any emotion's better than no emotion in these situations.
all
So.
all I'm gonna say is, if you say the MVP is the goalpost, that means you suck.
If that
Yep.
doesn't get these girls fired up to win against Sweden, then come on. Like Carly Lloyd, one of the greatest players of the sport that you were representing your country for, just basically called you dog shit on live television in front of millions of people. Billions of people probably have been watching the World Cup, right? And she just outright called you guys god awful and terrible. That should light a fire into your ass. And if it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you then at that point. Like, that should light a fire into your ass.
well, look back at 2019. Tom Brady told our receivers that they sucked and they should run faster, and they didn't.
So, can we also agree that a 0-0 game, regardless of what sport is?
I don't agree. That's my I like those kind of games. I like those nice close back
A
and forth games,
1-0 is significantly more fun than a 0-0. So,
Yes.
I like those when it's the World Cup and it's the best of the best doing it. When it's
I
just
don't
like
know.
well, U.S.
when
doesn't
it's the-
look like the best of best, so
They still are. They're the number one seed for a reason. Number one team for a
Okay,
reason.
well, moving on to another number one seed, Katie Ledecky, the legendary woman herself, who
Mhm.
continues to impress year after year after year after year, Olympics after Olympics after Olympics, who has fallen off a little bit, not so much in her own skill, but there have been other women who have gotten better in a lot of categories that have sort of taken some of her, medals away and her ability to get golds and silvers and so on, has officially passed Michael Phelps all time for the most world medals. Kayla
Michael
Decky
Wow.
Phelps dethroned.
she is coming up on the years where she is going to stop competing. I'm gonna check right
Well,
now.
she's 26, so she's probably got 2, maybe 3 more Olympics in her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
would
but
be-
actually winning is very different. So
Yeah, I agree.
But she is known as one of the most infamous swimmers to essentially go from the 1600 or the marathon races all the way down to the 200, even in some cases 100-meter races, which require very different skills and stamina and
Yep.
ways of swimming.
And build.
And she has been
Mhm.
very, very good for 8 years now, where she's been good, even before that. And the U.S. also has some other women swimmers who are very good as well, but these other countries have kind of caught up to her a little bit. So as she quote-unquote slows down, and if you call winning world championships, as well as still winning Olympic medals slowing down, just like Michael Phelps did in his last one, still won medals and so on. But, you can't win 9 twice, all right? We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps still is the leader for Olympic medals, but Katie Ledecky is very much in her own right, making her way to catching up to
Well,
Michael Phelps.
she-
So
Yeah. She
we
could
could very
easily
well-
be considered the best woman swimmer of all time.
absolutely, I think that's already. I think she already has that title,
Yeah,
to be honest.
and very much
How-
the top
Yeah.
2 for special.
How many more does she need in the Olympics?
To catch up to Michael Phelps, a lot. She needs a
Yeah.
lot.
And the
Like,
main reason it comes down to the fact that Phelps would always get 1 or 2, if not 3 medals that were medley medals or team medals that she isn't necessarily getting. So I think Michael Phelps at 21, right? That was what his record was at. I think
He has. I'm looking for the
I think
exact.
it was more. I think it was
He has
like
23. He has
Yeah.
23. He has 28 in total. 23 gold.
Jeez.
And I'm looking for Katie Ledecky exactly.
That's just what's still so insane is that for 3 straight Olympics he got nothing but gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is unfair. The fact that
And it wasn't
his
like, oh,
28
yeah, he got
medals,
it in-
23 of them are gold is insane.
Yeah, right. Like everybody was impressed with Usain Bolt, right? He was able to 3 straight Olympics. Same thing for him. He got gold 3 events he did, but Phelps did it in 5 different events at every Olympics. It's
Yeah.
just
So,
Yes.
so just to show, not to discredit anything that Katie Ledecky has done, but just to show how different in the Olympics it is from her and Michael Phelps. She has, as far as I can see, she has
7 gold medals.
7 gold medals right now. Yes.
Wow.
In all
So-
fairness, Michael Phelps at 26 had, I think, about 7. He just so
Yep.
happened to win 9 in one Olympics.
yeah.
And do
So-
something absolutely disgusting in his following Olympics when he was like 27 or 28. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, so it's
Katie
still
Ledecky
very
is
much
very
like-
close, but still, it's crazy how talented both
And
of them
still the world record holder in 2 separate events. So also
Yeah.
one of Michael Phelps' event records, world records, just went under this past weekend. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was a fairly impressive one. I think it was one of the medley, where you do 4 different. I think it was the 800, where you do 4 different races, or 4 different strokes. 200 meters each. And that world record was broken as well. So that's it for the news this week. Anyone else have anything else they want to talk about before we get into our actual topics?
No, it's all
Well, we're going to get into training camp, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about the MLB trade deadline as well. Unfortunately, for both of our teams, both the Yankees and Red Sox at most did a very small move. Not at face value, not going to make a huge impact on either teams. Therefore, not really worth talking about and not worth complaining about how they didn't do anything. I at least knew the Red Sox weren't going to do anything. I'm sure most fans did with how they're set up. The Yankees may be in selling mode. They may not, but nonetheless, they didn't do anything as the 5th seed in the AL East. And furthermore, the 7th seed, the 9th seed in the East in general out of 15 teams,
Mhm.
and they are fifth in their division. So
They're 3.5 back of the other wild card. Looks like the Yankees were just like, hey, we're just gonna if we make it, we make it. If not, okay.
Mm.
I think that's a
Exactly.
stupid thing because you should have just gotten rid of some guys then at that point and just come back next year. Plus, getting rid of
Yep.
guys. This is what I think every MLB team should do. If you're not gonna buy, you sell that season and you let your young guys come up and play. It
Yep.
makes no sense. It's not like in the NFL or ones where it doesn't necessarily make sense to do that because all your young guys that you draft that year, you've already been able to kind of see them play and you can rotate them in a little bit. It doesn't work the same in MLB, and you have so many young guys in 3 or 4 or in some cases 5 different divisions of the minor league system that it just makes sense to give your guys a shot. The Yankees are notorious for not doing that, and just
AKA Aaron Judge. So,
Yep.
literally prime example. So there were a few larger trades, including one of the most hilarious trades I've ever seen in any sport. I'll start with that one. Justin Verlander is officially going back to the Houston team. Wow, dude, the Houston
The Astros?
Jesus, I missed
The
both.
Houston team.
It's like the
That
Washington-
that's all they should be known
You know
as
what's
from now on.
crazy,
They're
bro?
just the Houston team.
They're about to be the Redskins again, the Washington Redskins, bro. It's just crazy.
What?
Have you not heard about
Oh
this?
boy.
Okay,
I did hear about that, but what does football have to do with the Houston team?
Because the football team versus the Houston baseball team.
I was confused as to why you were bringing up that. I heard about the Redskins maybe coming back, but I was just confused as to how the two were connected.
Anywho, well, going back to Justin Verlander is going back to the Houston baseball team, aka the Astros, and he's going back for the Houston. I'm sure more than this, but at the very least, Houston's number 1 top prospect and their number 4 top prospect. The part that makes this so hilarious is that Houston had Justin Verlander on their roster last year, had an opportunity to sign him long term, and did not, and then they just traded for him.
So it is kind of funny. I'd have to go back and see if there's other either in baseball or other places where a team didn't sign him and then traded back for him again. I'm not sure if that's happened the same season. It has happened with other teams. If not the first year, but the year after, like with the Celtics, traded back for Al Horford. What, a year or 2 years after he left for free agency. So it definitely has happened like that when they had a chance to sign their guys and they decided not to. But it is a weird one considering you gave up your number 1 prospect to get him. And honestly, I mean, he was pitching well, but I don't think he was worth the number 1.
And number 4. Number 1 and number 4. 2 of your top 5
Right.
prospects. Austin, one of the
So-
funniest part about this I just read, Justin Verlander on top of that had a no trade clause that he had to waive. He had to decide he wanted to go to this team. So he wanted to go back to the Astros. That is hilarious.
Well, the New York
wants to
Mets
be a cheater
suck,
again.
so-
Yeah, I think he realized. So I think the reason he walked in the first place is because he wasn't going to get that kind of money. And as soon as the Astros were looking to get him back, he was like, "Yeah, of course I want to go. I got my money, and now I can come back to you."
And still get his money.
Yeah, so it just makes sense for the Astros. They do have a somewhat aging core. There are some good young guys like Yordan Alvarez, but for them, it makes sense to make that extra push because they thought they could let Verlander walk, I think, and still be okay because they had a very strong, deep rotation last year, but the guys haven't stepped up the way they needed to be an ace this year. So it makes sense. They get their ace back. The other guys can fall back into line where they were last year. And here we go, Stros. I guess you're going to the Super Bowl. Wow.
The Super Bowl. Wow. It's the
Wow.
baseball
We
team.
really
I guess
are
it's-
mixing
I guess it's the Washington.
You get so bored of baseball, you start thinking about other sports.
okay.
It's usually how it
Some of the
goes.
other things,
Yeah, go
for
ahead.
this, there's just been a lot of different stuff.
Well, you have Paul DeJong or DeJong
Paul DeJong was a good one for the
for the
the
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays to pick up. They needed him to fill in that left field spot, right?
I
think so.
Yes.
Um,
Or no, shortstop.
And you know some other-
Shortstop.
or sorry, right? He's a shortstop. They did get somebody. I was confusing the different trades and stuff like that. But yeah, he fills in the shortstop since Bo Bichette did just get hurt. He should be fine, but he helps them.
The
fill in there.
Cardinals are absolutely selling. They are selling.
Oh,
oil.
completely selling.
Yeah.
Cardinals suck, so it makes sense.
But yeah, so Paul DeJong. I mean, there's some other big things.
More
The
than one
biggest
sport.
The two big ones was that Verlander and Max Scherzer, both the pitchers from the two aces that were supposed to carry hard for the Mets and make them unstoppable. Didn't do that, and were traded away in the first season after they both got signed, which is really funny to me. So there's some other, like, to people that aren't like big baseball fans, it really doesn't make a difference because it wasn't like, oh, Shohei Ohtani left and Mike Trout got sold or like some of those names. But so it hasn't been as big of a deadline as years past have been, where there've been some big names moving. Other than those two pitchers, those are the blockbuster trades.
And so it's kind of just sitting on it. And for that, it's not a huge surprise. There's a lot of good teams out there. So
yeah, there was one that I think we didn't really talk about last week. I wanted to bring it up this week. Was if he did get traded at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. Will the Angels regret not trading Ohtani?
Yes, because they're going to get nothing for him. He's going somewhere else. So I don't care where he goes. He's not going to the Yankees. He might go to the Red Sox.
No.
He might go to the Dodgers. Like, nobody knows. But
So
Austin and I say that they think he's going to New York, whether it's the Mets or the Yankees.
Austin and I talked about this last week, actually, when we both were agreeing that the Angels should just trade him, because even if they do have an agreement to come back in the future, like, to me, this shows that the Angels are going to make every effort to keep Ohtani. Is what this shows to me. They're going to.
It also shows they want to make sure they sell some seats for this year while they still have him. So.
Well, and like I told him this last week. I think it was after the show we were talking about this, but the Angels are dumb because you could have easily, because Ohtani has said him and his camp know where he's going. Nobody else knows outside his camp, and there hasn't been any leaks or anything. They're really tight-lipped about it. But he knows where he's going next season. That's what he's, said. So if he's made up his mind already, there's nothing they can do if it's not them, right? Likely. So what I would do if I was the owner, I would have gone to Ohtani myself, and I would have said, look, I don't know where you want to be. If you don't want to tell me now, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trade you, and then I'm going to make a play to try to sign you back. I will give you whatever you want. You want $600 million, I'll give you $600 million. But what I'm going to do is trade you away to get pieces that hopefully can help us over the 10 years more that you're here if you sign with us again, and build a team that can win you a championship.
I mean, I agree.
That's
what
I would
decision, but that's not what happened. So here we are.
But
right?
They're idiots, and have fun wasting either the careers of the two of the greatest people to ever play this game, or just losing them for nothing. So have fun, Angels. Sucks to be you.
Yeah, Mike Trout's there forever, so Mike Trout's fucked.
Yep.
On top of all that, so that's kind of it for our new, actually that was part of the news section. Sorry. We'll move a little bit on to NFL training camp update. So really, the biggest notes to talk about this also relates to who is left to not be signed.
Look who's in the chat.
Welcome, Justin.
Who's left to still be signed? Those who are on the franchise tag, such as Josh Jacobs. This does also include those who want contract extensions, such as Jonathan Taylor, who has now requested a trade. What are our thoughts on that? So we've had many conversations on how running backs are a scary market to bid money into. So much so that the Giants are willing to risk losing Saquon forever because they won't pay him the same amount they're going to pay him for 1 year for 3 years.
Saquon's not involved in this conversation.
But he is a good example of what not to do when you want to have a running back around for a while, and that's by give him 1 year and say, in the year you can figure it out. Furthermore, Jonathan Taylor is maybe the worst or the best example of what not to do, and that's nothing. So, and Jim Irsay has said he will not trade him. And what they're going to do is they're going to piss him off by putting him on the outside of football injury list, which means he doesn't get paid, and his contract year does not get taken, which means if he has a 3-year contract this year, he still has a 3-year contract next year, and he doesn't get paid for this year. So, yeah, piss him off. That's a good thing to do. Let's piss him off.
You know what's really so I saw, I don't know if you guys also saw his tweet about how he was saying he never had back pain. Because apparently that was the report that came out, was that he had back pain before reporting to camp, and then Taylor goes out and says no, he never had back pain and whatnot. This whole controversy to me is just a big old pissing match between Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor. Like, whatever happened in that meeting between them, or whatever happened beforehand, clearly got heated and clearly upset each other, that they're both going out and trying to win over the media on what side's right. To me, what Jonathan Taylor's doing, what is happening. One, Jim Irsay is an asshole, and he has
Yes.
been for many years. He's one of the worst owners in the NFL. But also, what Jonathan Taylor's doing by also like requesting the trade, I don't think is really helping the case for running backs at this point. I don't know,
I mean,
like
Nothing
this
can help the running backs, unfortunately, because
no, unfortunately, yeah,
Jonathan's the example of like he has MVP talks, right? The year in what 21.
yeah,
Obviously because everybody drafted him number 1 in fantasy overall last year, right?
a lot of people did. Yeah, he was like the consensus. Yeah,
Right. Their offensive line
Including
falls
Austin.
apart. Thanks for reminding me. His offensive line falls apart, and he does absolutely nothing. They had the 30th worst or 30th best rushing attack in
yeah.
the NFL last year, right? Out of what? Is it 32 or 32? Why am I spacing on that?
32.
32.
32, yeah, there are 32. So you go from having the best rushing attack or one of the best the year before to that because his offensive line. You have one of the best running backs, the top 5, honestly, at that moment. And it shows just how we all kind of said, it doesn't matter what kind of running back you have. It matters whether or not you have an O-line that can block. And so now Jonathan Taylor is in that space where they still want him, but he doesn't really have much leverage because running backs themselves do not have any leverage. It doesn't matter. They can produce a ton, but you can't really get much out of it. You have to be lucky like Zeke where they cough up money for him, which he then decided to just do nothing for them with that contract.
Yeah. Well,
it's just the way it is, unfortunately. So Kyle, any leverage to do anything with it, and he's just going to piss and moan, whether it's right or not, whether he's justified or not. That's up for people to decide in the media. But even if the media gets on it, I just nothing happens.
I think part of it too is when you're dealing with a dickhead owner, unfortunately, kind of a pissing contest is what they're meant to do. So you want to get back at, if your owner's a complete dick, you want to get back at him. But somebody with that kind of money and that kind of power, with that kind of attitude, is there for a reason. And the thing is, with a scumbag like him, they're going to bring you down to their level and beat you at their own game. So, but the running back market, I think a lot of factors brought into where we are now. One, the idea of we're going more into a passing league and embracing good offensive lines to make a running attack or wide receivers. We are also looking at longevity still isn't that great because we're seeing running backs go from an MVP season to absolutely nothing. Then also you have like Zeke and even Le'Veon Bell, who were very talented running backs who got very big contracts and held out and everything and have nothing to show for it since they got their big contracts. And the thing is, maybe running backs deserve more money. They do, because it is also the toughest position, not only to actually play, but actually to prepare for in the regular season. You're training like an offensive lineman in terms of your leg workouts while also trying to maintain speed. Trying to build that amount of muscle while also being that agile is a recipe to tear up your knees, because that's exactly how it is. If your knees can't handle the amount of muscle and stress that's there. So I honestly, running backs deserve to be paid more. I don't think there are wide receivers that don't deserve that amount of money. Like Christian Kirk getting $20 million a year. I mean, he's a very talented player, but Nick Chubb puts in a lot more work and has a bigger effect on his offense, and he deserves just alone half of that money that he's getting. So I think this market is just unfair for running backs, and until it's going to take a couple more running backs to get a big contract and to stay healthy, or else we're just going to be in this cycle over and over again.
I honestly don't think it's going to make a difference, because you look at NFL history, right? At one point, running backs were the premium position, and they got paid everything. Then you started having the quarterbacks get paid like they are now, and then you had receivers follow them, obviously, which makes sense. So I don't think you're ever going back to that unless you're going back to a strictly rushing attack, which will never happen.
I remember like 15 years or so ish. I don't remember the exact time frame, but it was when like Calvin Johnson was really in his prime. I was just starting to get into football, and my grandfather turned and looked at me and goes, "See, these wide receivers are going to ruin the game of football because running backs are what make this sport run." And I disagreed with him at the time, but he kind of had a point because running backs really are an underrated part of the offense to football. And we kind of see that now as they're just looked on as they're not looked on with as much like respect as quarterbacks and wide receivers are. Like quarterbacks and wide receivers get the bag. Like to me, there is no reason why OBJ should have been handed a $14 million signing bonus this past offseason. Made no sense to me. He's coming a whole year without playing football, and he's just handed a bigger contract than Saquon. He got more of a signing bonus than Christian McCaffrey has a whole salary, almost essentially. That makes no sense to me.
The only thing I would disagree with you on, Kyle, is I think as the game has evolved, the defensive coordinators, the offensive coordinators, and everybody in the sport has learned how to game plan better for rushing attacks. Where they did it in the past. So back then, it was pure talent would win, right? Not saying that like you can't win game now. You can win games without pure talent. I don't believe that. What I'm saying is like when it came to the specific running back position, back then you needed a Jim Brown, you needed a, anybody else like that, right? And that was what was going to get you there. You needed an OJ. You needed somebody that had that kind of skill. Barry Sanders. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need amazingly skilled guys. I think you still need good, competent runners. But I do think the threshold's lower because we've seen it time and time again with those guys that are that talented. As soon as the next season their offensive line just doesn't block as well for them, or their tight end that was a great, or the fullback or whatever isn't there, the rushing attack falls apart. And we've seen it with the Patriots where year in and year out they throw a new guy in there and it's like, oh yeah, look, he went the same amount of yards. Doesn't matter who.
I have a question.
So,
can somebody name the last time a superstar running back won the Super Bowl?
I define a superstar because for me, I have my clear answer, but I want you to define.
Superstar is defined as, I would say, the best player on the offensive side of the team.
Then it's Marshawn Lynch with the Seahawks, 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
I talked about this a couple weeks ago when the whole situation happened. You were off this week. You were off that week, but I basically was talking about comparing it with salary based and how running backs the past I did past 20 years or so, a running back on the Super Bowl winning roster who was leading in rush attempts had not made up more than 1% of the team's total salary. And I listed off the few exceptions, and the biggest exception of that was Marshawn Lynch.
Yes.
Which is ironic because he could have won 2 Super Bowls. They just handed him the damn ball.
That's true.
That is ironic.
Yes.
And you know what's funny?
Give them the ball, they're winning that game. I guarantee you that.
And
that's coming from a Patriots fan.
My favorite is that the Patriots then did run the ball on all their successive trips and always did whenever they got in the goal. Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
also not to forget, Sonny Michel, who just retired. Congratulations on his career. You know what helped with that Super Bowl run was him running for over 300 yards and 6 touchdowns in that playoff run in 3 games.
And look at the holes he had to run through and how he was so bad.
I wish Sonny Michel had a healthier career because he was so good.
Well, speaking of all this, let's talk about underrated offenses. Speaking of underrated running backs, so
Giants,
of course, the most underrated offense.
They're overrated. It's okay.
Most underrated offense in the league, of course, New England Patriots. Obvious pick. I mean, it's honestly, here's the thing: the Patriots could totally be underrated. They don't look it, and we don't really. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it could be. It could happen. Try not. I was gonna say, let's all do a pick. Who we think the most underrated offense is. I'll give you all a minute while I go off on my option here. So my pick for most underrated. Now, in my opinion, underrated would be you would consider an offense underrated if a general person, a normal person would look at the team and be like, they are not great or at the best they're at best okay. whereas they will perform. They have not, but they will perform significantly better than that. They'll be good. They'll be great, depending on what their original expectations are. So that's how I would formulate that, just to give everyone perspective. Personally, I think the most underrated offense. I'm trying to come up with a good reason for why I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Are we talking about last season or this upcoming season?
This upcoming
For this
season.
Upcoming season.
Okay.
So, of course, you're using last season as your benchmark, right, Justin? You're thinking, okay, how did they do last season? How do I think they will do this season that would make them considered underrated, and so on. So, personally, if I had to take a choice, there's a lot of slander for the Los Angeles Chargers. I would say that they have the most underrated offense in the league, personally. I do think that people like myself are very high on them. However, a lot of people, because they don't win the big games or haven't always won the big games, like to say that they are not great or that they are not as good as they are. Kyle being the main person, trash talking Justin Herbert. I have multiple coworkers do the same thing. I am a Justin Herbert lover. However, I do think that they are one of the most underrated offenses, no matter how much people think Justin Herbert is the most overrated quarterback. So that's what I would say personally.
Nick, I agree with you 100% because I actually think this is the year Justin Herbert will prove me wrong.
Finally.
I'm going into this year with the anticipation Justin Herbert finally says, "Fuck you, Kyle." If he's targeting
me, Kyle, I will give you a gross amount of money if he ever does it.
Depends on the context of why he says it, but yes.
Kyle pays for front row tickets to the Patriots Chargers game. Just
Justin, prove me wrong.
Say "fuck you, Kyle." And,
Kyle's either gonna be like, "I get it," or blush. It really depends.
I mean, I can say "fuck you, Kyle" whenever I want.
Yeah. That's
true.
Justin.
Context. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Austin, you were first on my screen, friend. Who do you think is the most underrated offense? You can't take the same thing, Kyle. I know you agree, so think of a different one.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I've been trying to think who.
I know who Jake would pick. I'm going to choose for Jake, whether he's watching or not. Jake would choose the Lions, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, but they're not.
You know what's funny? They were
my.
You know what's funny? They were my overrated pick last week, so that's hilarious.
Okay. Well,
me
and Jake are on the same exact page, and Jake's right 90% of the time, and I'm right 80% of the time. So this is a part of that 80%. So
I'm right 20% of the time, so that 20% is coming true this year.
That's true. So if you were to watch all our podcasts last year, 20%.
It's a little generous.
You're right, and I think 20% is about right, Steve. Unfortunately, so,
20%. I'll take 20%.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
I think you can have that. Point being, Jake would agree. He might not choose the Lions. He might choose the Chargers or another team. But I think the Lions would be high on this list. Anyways, Austin.
Honestly, I guess this one may be a little bit underrated. Probably the Seahawks. I think they have a good chance to be. If Geno can follow up what he did last year, I think they have a good chance of being a probably top 10 offense with that rushing attack and DK and other receivers they got. So
I will pause for a second because you mentioned that rushing attack, which is definitely going to be in shambles the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, it will
be. Considering Zach Charbonnet is out for the year. And Kenneth Walker is out. Probably a couple games. I don't even know what
he's only going to miss.
Come out of retirement.
There you go. I think Kenneth's only going to miss like one, maybe two. I don't think he's going to be out that long, but we'll see. We'll see how he keeps going. But yeah, so the rushing attack to start out may not be so hot, but also depends again. I think on how their offensive line is. They usually put together pretty decent offensive lines, so they may be able to just kind of plug and play and go.
They also have now with their rookie. They also have 3 very solid wide receivers too. So
exactly. So I think they're going to be just fine, and I think as they get going throughout the really good attack.
Fair enough. I like it. They have 3 great wide receivers. That makes life easy. Justin, who would be your pick for the most underrated offense in the league?
So the reason I was trying to go off of if it counts as last season and this season is because of course we do have trades in the middle of when there's the downtime. And with the trades I was my idea of going to be an underrated one just because of how everyone is very confused about this, I think it might be the Jets, just because they are getting a mixture of Aaron Rodgers, and even though he's getting older, he might still be good. And it's gonna be. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers played with any other teams other than Packers. My friend,
Nope, just the Packers.
My friend is a fan of the Packers and is definitely having mixed feelings about how he's gonna think of with the Jets this season.
I like it, Justin.
All
I
right.
appreciate that. I think it's a good shout. I think that you have there are very different opinions in the world of how good the Jets are going to be. I think they'll be somewhere in the middle.
Trash.
I think they'll be
I don't
somewhere
care
in
if
the
they're
middle.
trash.
I definitely don't think they'll win the division. I still think that is a Dolphins and Bills game to lose. However, I think there's a good chance they are ahead of the Patriots. So I would agree. That's a good shout. Kyle?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with the team I'm choosing by saying I think they have a very overrated head coach, and I think this head coach is the reason this team is very overlooked, especially their offense. But this team was very good last year. In fact, they did win 13 games. They did just lose a pretty talented running back, but I do believe his backup is going to be substantially undervalued this going into the season. But they also have the number one wide receiver in the whole sport. I think the Minnesota Vikings are kind of flying under the radar here, boys.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson, best wide receiver in the sport right now. I think Jordan Addison's going to be an insanely talented rookie this year. I don't think he's going to be a superstar quite yet, but I think he's going to be a very talented number two. I think Minnesota's building a wide receiver core that will be very similar to Cincinnati's. I think
also Osborne too.
Yeah, exactly. That was my you beat me to it.
Yeah.
So KJ Osborne, I think, is going to be a very talented number three. But also let's not forget they have TJ Hawkinson too, who is a very talented top 6 tight end in the league right now.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins, he's Kirk, but he can get the job done. He did a great.
Needs to go,
Exactly. He is very accurate with the ball where it needs to go, so he can get the job done. He's not like a top 5 quarterback, but he can get the job done. And I think Minnesota is definitely going under the radar, considering how up in the air the NFC North really is coming into this year. I know a lot of people are very high on the Lions. That's fine. They were very exciting at the end of last season. I understand why a lot of people are high on them. A lot of people are very low on the Packers, as we all should always be low on the Packers because the Packers suck. So we should always be low on the Packers. And then the Bears are just going to be the Bears. So I think the Vikings have a legitimate shot to actually win the division. So I think they're kind of sliding under the radar there.
For what it's worth, I would say Austin was the most right here. Jake did say the Falcons were his most underrated offense, so Austin's right, and they may have already talked about this, which may have been the unfair advantage here, but he did definitely just say that. So for what it's worth, I did ask his opinion. He was like Desmond Ridder, though. Good opinion, Kyle. I like it.
Thank you.
Steven.
All right. I'm stuck between two, only because I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Saints, because you're going to have Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, if he's healthy, as your two, Derek Carr. But I think there's definitely enough noise that people saying, they could definitely be a very talented team. But I'm actually going to go with a team that was complete dog wash last year because of injuries. But I want to give some love to the Rams a little bit, because Matthew Stafford is coming back and he's going to be healthy. Him throwing to just Cooper Kupp, they are without a doubt a 5,000-yard passing offense. Also, they still have Higbee, who's actually a very serviceable tight end. I've had him on my fantasy team multiple times, and he has actually won games for me because of his ability to sneak in and just be able to catch balls here and there. So Cooper Kupp is still arguably, he's still top 5 receiver in the league. And Matt Stafford is still a very, very talented quarterback. Cam Akers, he's pretty washed in terms of running back. But if they're able to get some good offensive line...
Hold on. You just can't call Cam Akers washed.
You can't say washed because he was never good in the first place.
Exactly.
He's good, so...
I'm gonna bite my tongue. Continue, Steve.
I'm gonna say Cam Akers is. I don't have high expectations for him. I'll say that.
That's fine.
But it all depends if their offensive line is able to get some good play, and who knows, maybe the Rams there is, even though he's aged, there is a Julio Jones available in free agency. You just pick him up just to have one sick game, it's possible. But
wait, why
and you still have
Julio Jones is the real question.
Because he can't stay healthy. But that would be a Patriots move to sign him, anyways. But also, you still have Sean McVay, who is a top 5 coach, an incredible offensive play caller, and I still believe that this offense will surprise a lot of people. Now, what's going to be their downfall is their defense, which isn't very much anything. But this offense still has potential to put up a lot of points, and I think Cooper Kupp has been the only receiver a couple times, and I still think he's going to show up. So, look out for the Rams because this could be a revenge tour for them. Who knows?
Let's hope Cooper Kupp doesn't get injured again.
I hope not.
Stafford's overrated.
I sent a pretty hefty trade to get this guy, and I'm hoping it's worth it. So we'll see.
It won't.
You're
be
welcome
worth it.
for him.
Anyways,
You're welcome, Steve.
Okay, so that was it for our most.
Is that 2 times in a row?
Just
that
two.
you
But I
traded him?
trade. Yes, that is 2 times that I
But
traded.
The last time
I
went
basically-
really well, Kyle.
The last time I got fucked. So this time I'm hoping I don't get as fucked.
That was like
Yeah,
the same
well-
thing with me and Austin when Austin kept trying to get Cooper Kupp from me.
So just
Yeah,
to
and then I
read
got him
Jake's
and he got hurt,
message,
so that worked out well.
Just to read Jake's message exactly, he would say the Falcons. Everyone expects them to be dog poop, as we say here, because we don't swear for whatever.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
yeah,
For
okay.
whatever fucking
Yeah,
reason.
Yeah, all right.
But
Let's just drop a bunch of F-bombs.
I
not-
like
that's-
the Pitts London duo because he likes armpits in London, with Dijon mustard and Patterson and Patterson. Don't love Ritter because who likes the Riddler? But if he puts it together, they could be a pretty solid group.
I liked him in the Batman.
I think that's good. Jake did a good job, though. I do agree. They do have a lot of weapons. Their quarterback's the biggest question mark, for sure.
I don't know, man. Bijan seems so overrated as a rookie. I don't know.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Steve? I didn't hear you.
Steve.
I don't know. I think Bijan might be.
Okay, well now that Steve's muted, anywho, so I can't possibly let him get away by saying a rookie who hasn't played yet is overrated.
He is overrated, and I'm going to go into more detail.
Oh,
so-
no.
Aw.
Justin was
Steven,
unmuting him,
that's-
so I had to
that's rough.
disconnect him.
That's a rough life.
Justin was unmuting him, so I couldn't just let him get away with it. Anywho, we're gonna move on. So I have heard for the final thing today that Kyle may have a hard-hitting question and/or game, depending on what he feels.
I have both for you, so 1-2 punch to end it.
Okay.
Is it as hard as me guessing the pitcher that I got $20 for?
No, it is not. And we watched that, Austin. Stop.
Yeah, but I still kind of got it because I got
Okay,
it back.
so what we're gonna
Anyway,
do, Kyle?
this
You are
game.
gonna ask your hard-hitting question.
All right,
and
I'm
then
gonna do the
each-
question. You can do the
Yes.
question first. All right.
Each person is gonna have 30 seconds to answer.
Dang.
Mhm.
All right.
Question. So I'm gonna set up a timer.
All right.
and
Sounds good.
We are gonna be good to go. So Kyle, I have the timer on my phone.
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna ask the question. First one to answer will be Austin. Otherwise, we will get time to think. I know Austin. Actually, we're gonna do Steve because Steve's the best off the nog. So Steve, you're gonna go first, and then myself, Justin, Austin. And then you can answer if you want at the end, Kyle. So 30 seconds
right.
from when Kyle finishes the question. Okay, Steve?
All right. So we all love watching. We all have our favorite sport, but we all also hate the rule books of that individual sport that we love so dearly. So if you were to take any rule from your favorite sport and get rid of it entirely, what rule would that be and why?
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. There are so many. That's actually really tough. The first thing that comes to mind is roughing the passer, but I don't know. That's pretty much a BS rule. But I think, let's let taunting stay. I don't want rules against taunting. I want Golden Tate to wave at somebody off as he's scoring a touchdown. Give me more taunting because it's hilarious.
Okay, Steve, timer up.
Damn it.
I think Austin's face when Steve said taunting was hilarious. All right, Justin, Nick's up. Sorry, Nick's up.
My 30 seconds here. I'm going to choose a sport that none of you are going to choose. I'm going to choose hockey. I don't think that there should be a 5-minute penalty for fighting. I think at most they should get a minor, at most, depending on if it was simply a put these hands down, or if it was something where it was engaged. Right? Obviously, if you get hit or your buddy gets hit against boards and he's down, you're gonna punch the crap out of someone. You deserve a 2-minute for that. Otherwise,
damn right.
If it's an agreement, put the knuckles up, fight. That's it. Okay, 30 seconds. Justin.
Hockey needs more Donnie Brooks.
Justin, you're up.
All right, so I actually kind of have a double one. One for a sport that I played. It was the fact of, like, I wish it was no offsides in soccer because of definitely I was more of an offensive person and sometimes accidentally slip by everyone to get by. And then for sports that we don't play, such as the football, I would say the times that I see that the field kicker, every time they get roughing the kicker, or whatever it's called.
I like
just running into the person, they just slip a little bit, and the ref will call it as a roughing.
I like it, Justin. And last but not least, last of those who did not know what the question was, Austin.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go with hand checking since you guys took a lot of the ones that I actually thought about. So I'm gonna go with hand checking in basketball. I think they should bring that back. And yeah, the fact that they rule that as a problem, and it's always. We need some more defense. That's my take on that. I think we need more defense in the NBA, especially.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Austin went for a quick one here. I like the 30-second method. I think that's fun. I think it kind of puts people on a little pedestal. We might give a minute to think next time. I'm sorry, Steve. But
no, you're good.
Kyle, you get 30 seconds to explain what you've been thinking about for a while. Go ahead.
So I would obviously choose hockey as my favorite sport, and one rule that I cannot stand that I want to get rid. Is it what?
Is it fighting?
It's not fighting. I love fighting. I think there should be more fighting, but I also think there should be body checking. Like, why can I not body check the goalie when he's outside of the crease? Or inside the crease, for that matter. The goalie is part of the play. Let me run his ass over. I don't give a shit if they're gonna... Let me run his ass over. The goalie deserves to be hittable. That's my rule.
Oh my gosh, chat. Just know that so many years ago in our senior apartment, I've seen Kyle pop a vein in his head because... I remember it was a Flyers game, and the goalie got checked, and they got a penalty for it. And they would have scored.
Yeah, that did happen.
And that's when he became a New York Rangers fan.
Correct. Bingo.
Because I need more disappointment.
Correct. I just love disappointment.
Okay, Kyle, what's the game you have for today?
So, you don't sound so excited, Nick. Jeez.
No,
what's the game we have today? I am so
You said
interested.
you like being disappointed.
I see what you did there. This has been a thing that I had that Nick told me I should plan back in April. We just never had the time to do it because we had a lot of news to go over.
Oh my God!
But it's what's that player? So I'm gonna tell you all of their accolades that they have accumulated over the course of their career. Some of them are still playing. Some of them have. It is not the same sport. I am going to give you the sport. I will tell you what the sport is.
I was like, what?
I will tell you what the sport is. I'm not going to tell you the teams they played for or anything, but I'm going to tell you the sport. And I'm going to tell you what their career accolades are. You just have to tell me who the player is. All right? You guys can work together as a team. I don't care if you guys want to figure it out together. That works for me. Got it? Understand what the rules are? All right. Starting off in football, since we're on a nice little football roll here to start for this episode, it is not Tom Brady.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is this old and new players, or only new players?
It is current. It is current players and old players. Yes. Okay. So there are
Patrick Mahomes.
No, stop. Listen to the. Oh God. Damn it. All right. So this obviously it is football. It is in the NFL. It will always be the American version of the sport. So don't go throwing out players in the Chinese basketball
Canadian
league.
Football League. Johnny Manziel.
No, it will always be the Americans' version of the league. Okay, so football, the accolades are 71,940 passing yards,
Drew Brees.
539 touchdowns. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, a 14-time Pro Bowler, and his number has been retired by 2 teams.
Isn't this?
I know.
Yes, Steve?
Nathan Peterman.
Oh
Yes.
my God, Steven.
Can I
Peyton
hear?
Manning.
No,
Wait,
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
That is correct. It is Peyton Manning. Holy shit. All right. My God. Anyway, moving on.
I thought Steven
also-
was gonna make a joke with like Eli Manning.
Eli Manning's not that good. Stop it, Justin. Don't give me hope. All right. This player is a 3-time Pro Bowler. He is a Super Bowl champion. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He averages 76 reception yards per game. He has a total of 57 touchdowns in his career. He is currently on the Baltimore Ravens, and he attended
Odell Beckham Jr.
LSU.
Odell
It
Beckham
is
Jr.,
Odell.
yes.
Yes. Good
Oh,
job.
You
Johnny
should have not
Manziel.
given the team. You should have just left the team out. That was
Yeah.
too easy.
So sorry, Austin. I tried to give you guys a little bone. You want me to make it harder? Fine. All right,
Yes.
I'll make it fucking harder. All right then. Please.
You do make me
He's
harder.
the 4-time Pro Bowler. He was a league MVP. He was an Offensive Player of the Year. He averaged 268 passing yards per game, averaged 1.6 touchdowns per game, and came top 7 in Heisman voting in college.
Matt Ryan.
No.
Can you do that one more time, Carl?
Sure. 4-time Pro Bowler, a league MVP. He was Offensive Player of the Year. Averaged 268 passing yards per
Cam
game.
Newton.
Averaged 1.6 touchdowns per game and came top 7 in Heisman voting in college.
No, because
Cam Newton is not correct.
I was gonna say he won the Heisman, so never mind.
And Matt Ryan wasn't correct either.
I didn't hear a goddamn MVP, so
I did say
you
MVP.
did-
In fact,
oh,
I said it.
It's
In
Yeah, he
fact,
did.
I said it twice. Matt Ryan
Yep.
is correct, Steve.
I was gonna say, it's definitely Matt
Yeah.
Ryan.
It is Matt Ryan. This
Good
player is an
goodness, man.
8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, League Defensive Rookie of the Year, averages 0.2 sacks per game, averages 0.7 tackles per game.
Wait. One more time, please.
I know who this is.
I also
Okay,
forgot
no.
a stat, so listen to the last one because I forgot to flip the page. 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, was a Super Bowl MVP, a League Defensive Rookie of
yeah.
the Year,
I know this
0.2
is.
sacks per game, averaged 0.7 tackles a game, and holds the record for the most sacks in a Super Bowl.
Are we assuming
Yep.
it's Von Miller? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is correct. It is Von Miller.
Oh, I was almost gonna say Lawrence Taylor, but he was a league MVP too. So
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor. Anyway, moving on to basketball. And so NBA. This player has over 17,000 career points, 3,600 rebounds, over 10,000 assists, was league MVP twice, an 8-time All-Star, and an Olympic silver medalist.
So they
ooh,
lost. So they're not in the U.S. because the U.S. doesn't lose very often. So that's interesting.
How many times did he win? The
He win what?
championship? Didn't you say you won the
Uh,
championship?
I did not mention that.
Oh, why did I think you said that?
17,000 points. That's not that many. That's a
17.
lot. But that's not
10,000
that-
assists is a lot.
Yeah, but that means he's a guard, right? Because he had 7,000 rebounds, he had 10,000 assists, and 17,000 points. He's likely a guard or a small forward.
I think this is a U.S. player, Nick.
yeah.
They're silver medalists.
And
though? What was the
silver.
last time the U.S. won?
2012? No, not 12. What was the redeem team? Was that 2008? That was 12? 2008 they didn't, right?
I don't know.
I think 2008.
Hmm.
One of
This
those
is
teams
tough.
was a redeem team.
He never won a championship. That's the weird part for me.
It's gotta be Chris Paul.
Uh,
It's Chris Paul. It's Chris
Oh.
Paul. It's definitely
okay,
Chris
yeah,
Paul.
I'll go
That
Chris
is
Paul.
not correct. It is not Chris
Wow.
Paul.
Wait,
It's
wait,
not
don't,
Chris Paul.
Oh.
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Over 10,000 assists.
Nah, like,
Stockton then? Like, there's not that many people that have.
because Stockton had
No,
like
he has
18
15,000.
He had like 18,000 assists.
Yeah, he had a lot more.
Yeah.
Who's never won a championship that has 10,000? That's still a lot. That's still top. That's high.
Yeah, it's very high.
It's like top 4. So if it's not Paul, it's not Stockton. It's not LeBron.
How many? We can just keep guessing, right, Kyle? Like not rapid fire.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. You
what
can
about
keep.
what about Damian Lillard?
That is not correct.
He does not have that many assists. That's for sure.
I don't know.
Who the heck doesn't? The fact that he doesn't have any championships. I'm trying to figure out.
That is the weird part. I'm surprised you gave one without any championships, Kyle. That's interesting. And there's a lot of players without championships. So that's hard.
It is hard. I will say he is on a team's Ring of Honor.
Oh, player.
So he is on a team's Ring of Honor. He is also on the NBA 75 anniversary team. He is a member of the 75 anniversary team.
Almost all of them won a championship, so that's hard.
Not all of them, clearly.
Who the heck?
Well, it's not Hakeem, right? Hakeem
It is not. It is not Hakeem.
He had more. And he won a championship.
Wait. Oscar Robertson.
No, good guess though.
Oh,
He was a coach in the NBA.
Did Charles Barkley ever win a championship?
I don't know if he did, but Charles Barkley is not correct.
Damn it.
No, wait, did he?
Well,
No, I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
But yeah,
This player retired in 2015.
Yao Ming. No, I'm trolling. I'm trolling.
Oh my gosh, graduated. Retired in 2015.
How many of these players you got, Kyle? Kyle, can I have a hint? Can we have another hint?
Yeah, guess one more.
Sure. He was selected 15th overall by the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, Nash.
Yeah, Steve Nash.
Why couldn't I think of Nash? I kept thinking of who had 10,000 assists. I'm like, who the frick am I not missing? And I don't know why.
I was like, you guys kept bouncing around the right area. I was like, come on, someone's got to name him. Right?
I think Charles Barkley was a good guess there.
It was a great guess. Great guess.
It was a good guess for everything besides assists. I knew it wasn't him.
Sticking in the NBA, 3-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year in 2009, won League MVP. He averages 17 points a game, 5 assists a game, and 3 rebounds a game. He also led his team to the NCAA championship, but did not win.
2009. Who was drafted?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, KD was 2007, I think, or 2006. I don't think
Was he that? Was he 8?
Oh,
yeah. You're right. He wasn't.
Well, Kyle, it's not KD, right? Let's just get that.
It is not
No,
KD.
no.
It is not KD.
I didn't really think about all the other stats too. They were too low for him.
Yeah.
This player should have had a better career.
But he won an MVP.
He did win an MVP.
And he was Rookie of the Year.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
It's Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
as soon as he said he should have
Rose.
been better, I was like, oh, yeah.
It was Derrick Rose. He should have been better, dude. He should have been so much better.
Once you win one MVP, you're usually in the contest. He was never in the contest for MVP again. So as soon as you said that, I was like,
you were like, he won MVP, and he was Rookie of the Year 09, and then I was like, oh, NCAA championship was like, oh, that has to be Derrick Rose. And right before you said it, I was like, oh, okay. Yep.
Last one in the NBA. Over 21,000 career points, over 8,900 career rebounds, 5,600 career assists. He is a 3-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time League MVP, a 12-time All-Star, and was an Olympic gold medalist on the original Dream Team.
Is this Hakeem? Hakeem?
Okay.
No, it is not Hakeem.
I don't know how many tournaments he has.
This is okay.
That clue at the end is a big giveaway, by the way.
Magic Johnson.
It is not great guess, but not Magic Johnson.
Okay, so what was the last clue you said?
He was an Olympic gold medalist on the original Dream Team.
Okay,
Right.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird on that
Larry
team?
Bird.
Larry Bird is correct.
Yeah, he never passed the ball, so that was obvious. Once I heard the assists or so, I'm like, huh. I was saying a lot of people, Magic Johnson passed the ball all the time. Larry Bird never passed the ball. He's a dick.
Well, I'm like, it's either Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. So Magic Johnson was out. I'm like, okay, it's got to be Larry Bird.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm gonna be alone. There's no MLB is gonna be super hard.
No, to do MLB though.
I only have 2 MLB ones. So
Okay.
MLB is super easy.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
not super easy.
That was
but
not super easy.
Okay.
not super easy, but I only have 2 MLB ones and 2 NHL ones.
Say
so,
one of them
Okay.
is 3,000 hits, please.
this first one has over 3,400.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I knew it.
Kyle.
But anyway,
As
this
soon as
second
he
one.
said over 3,000 hits,
Come
I
on,
knew
Kyle.
it. I knew it.
Oh,
He's my
Derek-
favorite.
oh.
I have his rookie card, Austin.
Yeah,
I
but
have
Kyle, come on.
to. I have to.
Oh,
Hey,
Derek Jeter. He's my favorite Husky.
Does anyone know that Kyle's nickname is a Bible? Because I read him like a book.
Anyway, this next one.
Because he's controversial and has a lot of
I
annotations.
don't think this one will be as easy. So just listen. just listen. All right. He's a 9-time All-Star. He was league MVP, League Championship Series MVP, a pitching Triple Crown winner, AL Rookie of the Year, a 2-time World Series champion. He was won silver medal representing the USA in the Pan America Games, and he has over 250 career wins.
I think this is Verlander.
Well,
He-
he's not right, Kyle. You would have said it's right away, so Verlander's not right.
What have I said it? I don't know.
Yes, because
So go over it one more time, Kyle.
Sure. A 9-time All-Star, League MVP, League Championship Series MVP, pitching Triple Crown winner, AL Rookie of the Year, 2-time World Series champion, silver medal receiver representing USA in the Pan America Games, and over 250 career wins.
Okay, Verlander does sound right, but I'm also thinking like he said it was harder. Verlander.
I'm pretty sure this is.
It is Justin Verlander.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wanted you guys to all say it in unison, but you guys weren't agreeing here. All right, so I have a couple NHL, and I also included soccer as well, just for fun. So
Okay.
you guys will have to try and use your knowledge for soccer ones together. For hockey, this player has 172 goals, 568 assists, 5-time All-Star.
The great one. I don't know.
No, it's not Wayne Gretzky. James Norris recipient, which is the best defenseman. Conn Smythe recipient, which is the best playoff MVP. He is a 4-time a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and a 4-time Stanley Cup champion.
I don't know. This is on you, Nick.
Yeah, it is. And the problem is, I feel like Kyle and I talked about who this was like not that long ago, and it kind of hurts my soul that I can't think of his name. Kyle, is he retired?
If I knew-
Is that a hint?
He is retired.
But he retired recently, huh?
Define recently.
10 years?
Yeah, like a little over 10 years ago.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
I don't know who the best defender of all time was, Kyle, or one of the best defenders of all time.
Well, Bobby Orr is probably the best defender of all time.
Yeah,
So
go
Is
for
it him?
it's not Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr retired
Damn
in
it.
like 85 or 90 or something.
It's not Bobby Orr.
Okay, here's the thing, Kyle.
Mhm.
You're talking historical NHL players. I don't know a lot of them, so I'm gonna need.
I can give you the teams he represented Canada, so he's Canadian.
Yeah, I figured that.
And he played for the Devils and the Ducks.
The Devils and the Ducks.
Who the heck's
Which
the
one
duck?
was he drafted by, though? That's the important
Anaheim
question.
Ducks.
Oh,
He was drafted by the Devils. Spent most of his career on the Devils.
Oh fuck! So you're saying he's played with Marty Brodeur for like all his freaking career?
Essentially, except the end of it, yeah. Except the very end of it.
Except the very well, yeah. When did Marty Brodeur retire?
Brodeur retired in 2014.
Wait, is Bobby
And
Orr
he-
from Canada? This is off topic.
Yes. Bobby Orr is, I'm pretty sure. Actually. Now I'm second guessing myself. He might be American. But anyway. No, he is Canadian.
He played
Yep.
with the Devils and
The Ducks. Not the Mighty Ducks, the Ducks.
the Anaheim.
So keep that. So there is a difference there.
you got me lost, bro. I'll be honest. I got.
Do you want the answer?
I need
Do you want
another
the
hint.
answer?
If you give me one more hint, maybe I can get it. How about that?
A number. Okay. Well, I don't know if I have another hint
Can I
here.
have an initial?
S.
Sammy Sosa.
Dude, does he have like a stereotypical like?
Hockey last name? Yes,
Yeah,
he does.
Like Iyer or some dumb shit at the end of the name.
He
Or
does
NC.
actually. He does have he does indeed.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Igor.
Probably freaking like something Meyer or something like it starts with
It
an
is
S?
something Meyer. You are correct. It is something Meyer.
I'll take it. You said starts with an
it's-
S. What's the most stereotypical S name? Steve, Scott, some
Steve Meyer.
Steve Meyer.
It's
Michael Myers.
Scott Niedermeyer. Scott
Yeah,
Niedermeyer.
I was never gonna guess that, but
All right.
Yeah.
This one you should get, and if you don't get it, you shouldn't call yourself a hockey fan.
Good, because I don't call myself a hockey fan.
Even you can get this one, Austin. Keep
Greg
that in mind.
Gatsby.
can you say
No.
6-time Selkie winner? Because this will be over already.
It's not. It's not him. 9-time All-Star.
6-time Selkie winner.
No, 9-time All-Star.
Yeah.
2-time league points leader. 2-time league MVP. 2-time playoff MVP. A 3-time Stanley Cup champion. A 2-time Olympic gold medalist. And he was drafted from the Rimouski Oceanic.
Oh,
Was
so-
Bergie only 2-time Olympics?
Yes, Bergeron is only 2-time, but this isn't Bergeron, so
Oh,
don't
okay.
don't guess Bergeron.
Bergeron.
It is not Bergeron. I said don't guess Bergeron. The fuck?
Chara.
It is no.
Wait. Question, Kyle. Did he win the MVP with the Oceanics or the fuck?
No.
Oh well, that's not helpful.
Well, maybe he did. Actually, I don't know.
Oh well, that was helpful now.
Let me look. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to
Let me look. Did he win an MVP with that team? I don't really count that team because, like, who cares about Junior? But
Can you give me the other teams he played for?
He's only played for one team in his career.
And was it that team or was it who they rebranded to? Because I don't know who they rebranded to.
So that team that I said was their junior team.
Oh, well,
His junior, so not the NHL team. And he did not win MVP on the junior team.
Mhm.
He has two MVPs?
You're definitely overthinking this one.
Is,
Yeah.
Is it Sidney Crosby? Like that's
It is Sidney Crosby. That's
Okay.
why I said
Oh,
you were
I actually
overthinking.
was gonna say that, and I just didn't think I should say
Like
that.
I said,
he
you
was
were
the obvious one, but
overthinking.
I thought he was drafted by the Penguins.
He was drafted by the
I
Penguins.
knew the whole time.
I
just,
said
you know,
he was
wanted to be
drafted
humble.
from. I said he played for the. Anyway, soccer. I got one soccer one for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Messi, no.
Messi.
It is not Messi.
Is it really?
He is not currently playing, by the way.
Okay.
So
David
stop.
Oh,
Beckham.
Pele.
He scored 129 goals in his career. He never won the MLS Cup, but he was the runner-up 2 times. He was a 4-time MLS All-Star.
Oh, Landon Donovan.
Who?
Landon Donovan.
No, it's not Landon Donovan.
Oh, okay.
He did win the CONCACAF 3 times. And
It's
he was
Austin.
also a UEFA Europa League runner-up as well.
Is it Pele?
And it's not Pele. He is an American, so
Oh.
And played in the MLS, so definitely not Pele.
a pretty well-renowned American soccer player.
Oh, you said he never won the cup, though.
He never won the MLS Cup. No.
He has 160 goals. Is that what you said?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misread my notes. He did win the cup once.
Oh,
My
okay.
bad.
I was like, so this
Sorry.
is what's his name? Did he play for LA Galaxy?
No.
Oh, then it's not who I'm thinking.
Wait, how many goals do you say he had
129.
in the MLS?
29.
No, in total.
In total, like the World Cup, MLS, everything.
Not counting international play. So just so not counting World Cup games. So that's counting MLS games or if he played in Europe, which he did play in Europe. That's what that's kind of. So it's not counting like international tournaments. So not counting World Cup.
Not counting international, but Europe counts.
I said the only two that
No, not international tournaments, Justin.
No, I know what you mean. I just find
I
it funny.
said that.
I know.
You guys know
Wait,
who this player is.
he
Too.
said he's
like
not
I
playing.
might.
He's not currently playing. He's retired.
I said the only two that I really know.
You said only one. Who was the second one you said?
I said, well, that's true, but you said he didn't play for LA.
You said Landon Donovan, and I said no. And then who was the other one you guessed?
Yeah, the other one I was
What
going to
about,
think of his name, but
Clint Dempsey. I don't know, man.
no,
That
he
is,
played for LA.
it is Clint
What?
Dempsey.
Didn't
he
he
never
play
played-
for LA?
No, he did not.
Oh,
Did you
oh,
look it up,
oh.
Nick? Did you
No,
Google it?
I started thinking about when I used to watch the World
What?
Cup when I was younger,
Did he
and they
play
were
for
they
them?
were like actually decent. For a little bit.
Seattle. He played for Seattle and
And
New
Oh,
England.
The only
He played for
person
New England.
I could think of was Landon Donovan.
Oh,
and
he's
I
on the
was like,
Revolution.
What's
Gotcha.
another name I could think of? And I was like, oh, Dempsey, Clint Dempsey.
See, I didn't say him because for some reason in my head I had him play, and that's
Yeah. No, he played for the Revolution. That's probably why a lot of
By the way, I've heard
people.
his name a
But
little bit.
yeah,
so.
he also he
Christian
played for the
Pulisic.
Sounders. No, I have more, but we're getting overdue.
Yeah,
so
we're getting to be on time here. Well, anyone else have anything else to talk about this week?
A lot of injuries in training camp. I feel so bad for Tim Patrick for tearing his Achilles now.
I feel bad for him, but I have to laugh because that's his favorite team, and it's
Oh my God, it's so juicy.
All the injuries are so juicy. So, and more
And Joe Burrow too.
his
But
balls were hot.
actually, I did see something that was really encouraging. DeMar Hamlin is practicing, and he had a very nice interception in training camp today.
yeah, he's playing full contact too.
Yep.
Oh, Justin just gave the middle finger to DeMar Hamlin. Wow, that is rough.
No, I forgot about
That
that.
is
You
wrong.
heard it here first.
I didn't hear the sound. I didn't hear the sound.
People
I
have
didn't do it.
serious conditions.
no. He's got
That's
right.
Okay,
That was rough.
that wasn't for Demar. It was for Thomas.
That's
Michael
right,
Thomas
guys.
to not be
Go
able
on
to come
to
back.
Yeah, we'll say that.
now.
Embarrassing.
That's
He was
actually
calling
good.
Michael Thomas.
Thank you all for joining us for episode 75 of our podcast today. Officially the 3/4 mark on the way to 100. We do appreciate you for your time with watching us. Definitely make sure to go down below and hit the like button and subscribe, as we will be here every week. We do thank you for your time. We do hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week, and we will see you next one. Bye.
Be kind to someone.